Welcome back, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into VOD advertising, video on demand.
VOD.
Yeah, VOD advertising.
That-
You've been doing some research on this, and looks like you want to understand the advantages of VOD over traditional TV advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going through all the stuff you sent over, and some of the findings were really pretty surprising.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For example, did you know that traditional TV advertising in the U.S. is expected to hit over $59 billion in 2024?
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it really is a huge number.
Especially when you think about how much the media landscape has shifted to streaming and on demand.
Right.
So it really makes you wonder, is that money being spent effectively?
Yeah. Is traditional TV advertising still a good investment?
Exactly.
Good question.
So what are the benefits of VOD that are, driving this shift?
Well, one of the biggest advantages is the fundamental change in control.
Okay.
With VOD, the viewer is empowered to choose what they watch, when they watch it, and on what device.
It really aligns with our on-demand lifestyles.
Yeah, I mean, I know I hate having to, arrange my schedule
Oh, absolutely.
around when a show is on.
Yeah. Who has time for that anymore?
Right, exactly.
We want things instantly when we want them.
And speaking of wanting things, that kind of leads into another thing that I saw in the research, which is just the variety.
Oh, yeah?
The massive libraries available on these VOD platforms.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, there's something for everyone.
Right, and that's a huge benefit for viewers, obviously. But it also presents a challenge for advertisers.
How so?
Well, think about it. You've got this massive amount of content all vying for attention.
Right.
So it's not just about getting your ad on screen anymore. It's about cutting through the clutter and really connecting with your target audience.
So yeah, it's not just about eyeballs, it's about the right eyeballs.
Exactly. You need to be strategic and targeted.
And that actually brings us to another benefit that was highlighted in the research.
Okay.
The multi-device accessibility.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
I mean, you can watch this stuff on your phone, your tablet,
Your laptop, your smart TV,
anything.
you name it.
Yeah, so how do you think that is impacting advertising?
It's definitely a challenge for advertisers. They need to create content that works seamlessly across all these different platforms.
In what way?
Well, an ad that looks great on a big screen TV might be completely lost on a tiny phone screen,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and vice versa. So it's not just about shrinking down the same ad. It's about understanding how people consume content on different devices and tailoring your message accordingly.
So I guess it's really important to think about things like screen size, viewing context.
Absolutely.
How long are people watching on this device versus that device?
All that factors in.
So much more nuanced than just, taking a TV ad and putting it on your phone.
Right, exactly. It requires a real understanding of user behavior.
Mm.
And you need to be willing to experiment with different formats and storytelling techniques.
It sounds like VOD advertising is really pushing the boundaries of creativity in the advertising world.
It's a really exciting time to be in this field.
Yeah, that's really cool. And, speaking of pushing boundaries, the research also mentioned that VOD production can be significantly cheaper than traditional TV production.
Oh, yeah, much cheaper.
I think it could be like 110th of the cost.
That's right, in some cases, yeah.
Wow, so how does that lower cost impact smaller businesses?
It's a game changer, really.
Yeah,
It levels the playing field, so to speak.
okay.
Small businesses and independent creators can now produce high-quality video ads and reach their target audiences without breaking the bank.
And that ties in with another benefit, right? Targeted advertising.
Exactly. VOD platforms offer incredibly granular targeting options you can target by demographics, interests, behaviors, even purchase history.
So you can really get your message in front of the people who are most likely to be interested.
That's the idea, and that's why VOD advertising is so effective.
So we've been talking about how VOD is really changing things for businesses and creators, especially when it comes to reaching the right audience. And it makes me think about another advantage that the research highlighted: better reporting metrics.
Right, exactly. With VOD, you're not just putting an ad out there and crossing your fingers.
Right, hoping for the best.
Exactly. You have access to tons of data
Oh, wow.
that can really help you understand how people are engaging with your ad.
Like what kind of data?
Well, you can track views, completion rates, click-through rates,
Oh, okay.
all sorts of things. And that gives you really valuable insights into what's working and what's not.
So can you give me like a concrete example of how a business might use that data to, actually improve their campaign?
Sure, let's say you're running an ad for a new line of athletic wear.
Okay.
You've targeted people based on their demographics and interests,
Mm-hmm.
but you're noticing that people aren't watching the whole ad.
Oh, so the completion rate is low.
Yeah, exactly. So you dig a little deeper into the data,
I
and you might find that people are dropping off at a particular point in the ad,
Interesting.
maybe when you introduce a certain product.
Oh, I see.
So that could tell you that maybe that product isn't resonating with your target audience,
Yeah.
or maybe the way it's presented needs some work.
So you use that data to tweak things.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can adjust your ad or your targeting parameters
Yeah.
and hopefully improve its effectiveness.
So it's like constantly using data to refine your approach.
Mm-hmm. Make sure your message is really hitting the mark.
Yeah, I like that. And I mean, that level of control, it just seems like such a huge advantage over traditional advertising.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the key reasons why VOD advertising is
Yeah.
considered so effective.
Okay, cool. So I want to talk about another comparison that was made in the research.
Right.
They talked about VD compared to other forms of online advertising, like display ads.
Right. Those banner ads you see all over the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So what are your thoughts on that comparison?
Well, the research argues that VOD advertising is just inherently more engaging than display ads. Well, VOD ads have the power to tell a story,
Okay.
to create an emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
Display ads, they're often static.
Hmm.
They're easy to ignore.
I mean, think about how often you actually click on a banner ad.
I rarely do.
Me neither.
Right. They just kind of blend into the background.
Yeah, they're kind of like wallpaper almost.
Exactly. And that's the challenge with display advertising.
Okay.
It's often perceived as intrusive and irrelevant.
Yeah, I can see that.
But VOD ads, they're presented within a context that people have already chosen to engage with.
So they're watching a show or movie, and then the ad is part of that experience.
Right. It's less about interrupting their experience and more about becoming a part of it.
That's a good distinction. And, that actually reminds me, the research also dug into the comparison between VOD and traditional TV advertising.
Right. The old guard versus the new guard.
Yeah, exactly. So what were your main takeaways from that?
Well, the key takeaway was that online advertising is just more effective
In what sense?
in reaching and engaging target audiences.
Yeah.
Traditional TV advertising, while still a big market,
Hmm.
it's just not as precise
Right.
or as data-driven.
Yeah, it seems like VOD advertising really does offer a pretty powerful combination of benefits.
It does.
And it aligns with how people are consuming content today.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And as viewing habits continue to evolve toward on-demand streaming, we can expect the importance of VOD advertising to grow even further.
So speaking of evolving habits, one thing the research didn't touch on was the emergence of interactive advertising.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting development.
Within VO,
It has the potential to really revolutionize how brands connect with their audience.
in what way?
Well, we're already seeing interactive VOD ads that let viewers choose their own adventure,
Oh, cool.
explore product features in more detail, or even make purchases directly from the ad.
It's like personalized content on steroids.
Exactly.
Ad
And it
buyer.
speaks to a broader trend in advertising,
What's that?
the shift from interruption to engagement.
Okay, I like that.
Consumers are becoming more savvy. They don't want to be passively bombarded with ads. They want to be active participants.
So it's not just about getting your message in front of the right people anymore.
It's about creating an experience that they actually want to be a part of.
That's a really good point.
And I think that's where the real power of VOD advertising lies.
Yeah.
It gives brands a platform to create those engaging, personalized experiences.
It sounds like the future of VOD advertising is all about, really understanding the viewer and creating content that fits into that experience.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's not about interrupting the show anymore.
Right.
It's about becoming part of the entertainment.
And that's a challenge for advertisers, right?
Absolutely. Viewers are getting more and more sophisticated,
Mm-hmm.
and they can spot an ad that feels out of place a mile away.
Right. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the challenge for advertisers is to create ads that feel natural.
Like they belong there.
Exactly, like they're part of the VOD environment.
Yeah. So it's not just about being present on VOD platforms.
Right.
It's about really understanding the nuances of that viewing experience.
And creating content that fits seamlessly into that.
I guess that requires a pretty big shift in thinking for a lot of advertisers.
It does for many, yeah.
I mean, it's not enough to just take a TV commercial and slap it on a streaming platform.
Nope. You need to create content that's specifically designed for that environment.
So it sounds like VOD advertising is really pushing the boundaries of creativity in the advertising industry.
No, absolutely. It's a really exciting time to be in this field.
So much potential for innovation.
I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Well, it's been great talking to you today. Really insightful.
My pleasure.
So for someone who's been doing all this research on VOD advertising,
Yeah.
what would you say is the most important takeaway?
I'd say the most important takeaway is that VOD advertising is a totally different ballgame.
Okay.
It's a move away from that traditional broadcast model.
Right, where you're just blasting out your message.
Exactly. And it's moving towards a more targeted, personalized, data-driven approach.
Mm-hmm.
VOD allows advertisers to connect with individual viewers.
On a much deeper level.
Yeah, with messages that are relevant to their interests and needs.
And as technology keeps evolving, we can expect even more innovation,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
more engaging, more immersive advertising experiences.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what the future holds.
Well, I think that about wraps things up for us today.
Yeah, sounds good.
We hope you found this deep dive into the world of VOD advertising helpful.
Informative.
And we encourage you to keep learning and keep exploring all the ways that VOD advertising can help you connect with your audience.
Reach those right eyeballs.
Exactly. Until next time, keep diving deep.